Something that I talk about in the video that I just did on you. You said, you know, like let this cat be, will hunt.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed, and I think, and I really want to, I'm really excited to talk about Evanescence because I really do love that band. I think she's phenomenal, and I think this goes to why they're such an enduring and endearing band is at the heart of it. You know, they're not a label creation. That is a band musician, band. She
Right.
lets you, man, she lets that racehorse run. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like she don't put a governor on you at all.
No, not really, man. I mean, and I'm respectful of that. You know what I mean? I try not to take too many liberties, you know what I mean? And I try to keep, the grooves, like songs like that everybody knows. I try not to go too far off. I keep the grooves and the big beats, that stuff. I keep it in pocket and maybe just make it a little groovier, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not more complicated and not showing off, but just, try to really make it heavier, make it, have more weight, I guess would be the way to put it. And, she's good with that. And I'm greatly respectful for it, and I respect that situation. So,
I
um,
do too, because it'd have been so easy because you know you're playing a lot of songs that you don't play on. Like the one that I did was you doing a song that you're not on.
right,
But you know, a lot of times, especially at that level, you know, they're going to say, "Hey, play this fucking record, play this thing," and
yeah,
she lets you be yourself, and it allows you. At least this is what I got from it. It allows you to connect more because you're not reproducing, you're creating still, and
yeah,
you're being respectful to the source material, but it's like this is what it would have sounded like if I was on this track.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. I think that, and I tried, I didn't come into it hot like that. Like
You
when
have
I
to, you
came in,
gradually have to get there.
right, I just developed it into that, and
Trust, like she, like,
right,
does it feel like, you know, you'd have to, like, kind of, because we've all done that where you join a band that already has a set, uh, uh, you know, a set of songs, and you have to kind of like get them to know that, like, I'm going, like, the more you let me put myself in this, the more this is going to be good for everybody.
yeah, and well, and with that, it was never spoken, but you know, myself and Troy both came in to that band in Evanescence in the middle of the Open Door tour. They had already been touring for, on and off for 8 months. So they were already in a groove. So when we came into that, it was like, okay, we got to try to play this as close to what they're used to as possible. But for me, some of it was just like, that's way too white for me. It's like I got this part screaming to be groove and just got no weight. Like, where's the weight to this section? And just like, how can I be respectful and kind of slip this in where they don't even notice a difference other than, wow, it feels really good. And that was a lot of what it was. It was just some very stealth like, changes that the only reason they would notice them is because all of a sudden they're doing this a little bit harder. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And
Well,
that would,
man,
it took a minute.
well, I was gonna say no disrespect to the cats that played in that band before you, but you know, they're and of course I'm listening like a drummer. You know, they're so much better of a band with you behind the drum set, for sure.
Rocky's a great drummer, man. And I mean, the first record was Josh Freese. He was a studio gig
Of
for him.
course it was, because Josh Freese plays on fucking everything.
Yeah, he played. Yeah, he does everything. At the time, he was certainly doing everything, and he played on that record. And I think the story is that he came in and did the record in like 2 days.
That's a Josh Freese story.
Yeah, and like, and look, I'll be honest though, it's just like, yeah, he did it in 2 days, but it's as simple as you can be, you know, and I don't
It was
think
studio drumming.
studio drumming, and there wasn't a lot of thought into how do you formulate this instead of it being, a few fists pumping to one just big fucking fist.
Right.
And I think that that's the difference between having a studio guy come in and do something and having a real band, which is what we have now.
That's the big difference. You know, Josh Freeze there for a while was a meme. I was in the studio and was like having trouble and was getting frustrated, and the producer to cut the tension that I was causing because I was being hard on myself. He was like, I can just call Josh Freeze and have him come in here and do this today. I was like, God damn it. It's like, and
Yeah,
how like good producers are so good at like, and I don't want to talk about Nick later, how like, producers aren't just getting sounds on a hard drive or tape. They're almost psychiatrists in a
you have
way.
to be. Yeah, I mean Dave Bendeth, who I've done a lot of work with, and he's worked with everybody. Still a very viable and happening producer today. He his background, his college degree is in psychology.
Oh, no shit.
You know,
Oh
yeah,
my
oh
God.
yeah, dude.
Of course. Tell the people who we're talking about because I'm not going to try to say his last name.
Dave Bendeth.
Okay. So,
Yeah, he's
uh,
done like when we did a lot of the Breaking Benjamin stuff. He did. I mean, he's done Elvis. He did like the number ones for Elvis. He's done
Jesus.
Paramore. He's done wait, not Shine Down. I mean, if you look him up, it's just like, holy shit, this guy's done everybody. He's very famous cat. Red jumpsuit apparatus. I mean, all kinds of shit. And he's a psychologist, man. He really is. I mean, he breaks shit down and makes you really think about it from a mental point of view. And it's a different way of producing, for sure. But yeah, I mean, he starts there instead of it kind of going there. He's
Right.
there,
Those experiences, man, like getting to work with all those different producers, you assimilate that and you
yeah,
move that on to the next session. You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, totally, totally.
But yeah, let's talk about the new record. And I was telling you offline, I was cussing you a few weeks ago. I've got a student. Shout out Angie, because she's definitely going to be watching this. I was teaching it's not the last single. That single's been out for a while. The Use My Voice.
Yeah,
And yeah, that halftime breakdown after the second chorus, and it's so Will Hunt, like it's like your kind of standard, dun, black, halftime thing,
yeah,
and then you do these toms at the end of it, and I was like, fuck, I can't. I'm in front of this student's like waiting for me to get this right, and I can't get it, and I gave her the let me work on it for next week, and I'll have it for
yeah.
you. And I had to go in and slow it down and figure out all those extra tom things you're doing. That kind of will move us back to what we talked about at the beginning. You are one of the few big bands that decided to release a record now, because your standard thing is you release a record, you go on tour, you go on Kimmel, which you all did a few days ago.
Yeah.
But that's been broken. So like, how are you all able to push that in these times right now? This
I
great
mean,
record, by the way.
thank you. I mean, it's a double-edged sword because um, it's totally a double-edged sword because we need to put a record out. It's like, I guess you don't have to do anything, but we kind of started this process before the pandemic.
That's what I was going to ask. Was this already, you're already in the process of recording it?
Yeah, man, we were already in the process of the song was scheduled. They were already putting the song out. You know what I mean? It was going to come out before the song came out in March, and the lockdown happened. In March, started happening slowly and sporadically, and then by April it was locked the fuck down, and it was realized, well, now what? It's like we've only done 4 songs for this record, and it's like, what do you do? Like, I don't know. And I think for us, it was just like, well, we got to finish the record. So that buys us some time to finish the record. But you kind of just got to put it out, you got to kind of go for it. And we just felt like, that, it's time. We haven't put our new album out since October of 2011 of new material. Now we put Synthesis out, which was the orchestral reworkings of most of the music with 2 new songs. So there's been something, and there's been definitely, we did a really big tour, very, very successful tour for that. And but it's a double-edged sword because this record's really fucking good and it's really heavy. It's got a lot of weight to it. Lyrically, it's just the best thing, I think.
Dude, she's one of the best lyricists in
ever
rock and
written.
roll, man.
She just keeps one-upping herself with it. And I think the good part of it is that we had extra time to finish it and really sweat it and do it, and it's incredible. The bad part of it is that we're not in rehearsals right now to start a tour behind it.
It's as I was going to say is that habit is your body's probably like, why are we not playing these
It's
songs? Why are
weird
we not doing? It's weird, right?
because usually, like when I've had major releases like that, I've either been in rehearsals about to start a tour or been on tour. And so you're together to kind of celebrate the release and, have a release party, whatever it is. I've never been at home just hanging out when I've had a major release ever.
Ever.
So, so it's like, I'm kind of thinking to myself, well, we got to do something for it. We can't all be together. So we've got to, I don't have an answer for that yet, but
Well, you all did a pretty darn successful live stream a few weeks ago, months ago.
it came out, I think, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Months ago it came out, and yeah, that was cool. But again, it wasn't. It was still very studio-esque. I
That
was
itch only got lightly scratched.
correct. And it's like we didn't do it like some bands have done it where we're on a stage, and part of it for us is logistics. Like we've got a guitar player that's in Germany that can't even get into the country right now.
That's something I forgot to bring up. So was she just flying her tracks? You'll just send them over there, and she was recording in a studio over there.
She did some of that, yeah. At the end of the shake, yeah, she did some of that. Some vocals, stuff like that. I think one of her strengths in this band that she's brought to this band is her singing ability.
Mm.
That there's another female voice that can kind of sing with Amy in some spots. It's really cool and adds a layer, another dimension to that sound. And certainly on a live standpoint, like, the Wasted on You video that we just did for Kimmel that Adam did. That's Jen singing the backups. There's no tracks. There's nothing going on with that song. That's her, and it's, it just kind of underlines what she, the cool factor that she brings to the band.
Uh,
But you can't come into the country. So
I was